I'm Alicia.
And I'm Maddie.
And welcome to the Fangirl Diaries, a podcast where we talk about our obsessions,
reminisce about our teen icons,
and explore the books, movies, and shows that made us the incredibly nerdy 30-somethings that we now are.
Hello, fans of the Fangirl Diaries.
That was a very cool opening. I thought you were just going to say, hello. And then you were like, hello, fans of. And I was like, who are you speaking to? It's just me.
There are some people listening to this.
No, there are some people listening to this. We would just like to say thank you to the people who do listen to this, because it really is just like you and I talking about rubbish from the past.
And it's mostly for us, but yeah, we appreciate all of you who put in the time to listen to our ramblings.
And I think that quite a few people are going to know what it is we're talking about today.
Yeah.
I feel like this is not one of those topics that is like super niche and a random obsession of yours and mine. This was like a universal, adored film.
Yeah, so we're talking about The Notebook, which I think was one of the classic films for people our age that we all watched growing up. And it was in the kind of lexicon of teenagers, you know, as we were growing up, of like a classic romantic film that everyone saw.
Yeah, it really was. And we should probably state that when we refer to our age, we mean millennials.
Millennials, yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't know if Gen Z watched this movie.
Probably not.
Are they the one below us?
Yes.
Okay. And then there's like one below them as well now. We're old.
Yeah.
But I have no idea if this movie is still cool. It's 20-year anniversary this year.
Wow.
So it came out in 2004. We are taping this in 2024, which is terrifying. But you're right, it is a film where I assume anyone our age just knows this movie.
Yeah. Particularly girls, but probably even guys.
Well, no, you're right on the girl thing, because when I rewatched this the other day, Luke said, "What's that?" And I was like, "Are you kidding? How are you unaware of this film?"
I feel like there was a joke when we were growing up, like as older teenagers, that if a guy watched The Notebook with a girl, that he was going to get to sleep with her that night.
Oh, I think you might be right.
Yeah.
This was like an early version of the Netflix and chill joke before Netflix existed.
Yeah.
It was probably like if we had The Notebook on VHS tape or something.
If you suffered through this movie, very romantic, lovely movie, you would probably get to have sex.
Which, by the way, we should say, the premise of this episode is that this is actually a good film.
Oh yeah, it's a great film.
It's a really good film. This is not a trash rom-com or, some soppy made-for-TV rubbish, of which there's now a lot. This predates all these multiple streaming platforms, these sort of Christmas card movies that they churn out all the time now. This was one of the best romantic films of basically its decade, probably still all time.
Yeah, and it's definitely just a genuinely like all-out romantic movie. It's not a rom-com. It's not. It kind of is a drama, but it's a romance drama.
Aeroplanes categorise it under drama.
Yeah,
and I know that because I watched it on a plane. As in, that was my last watching.
Okay, yeah.
I think that was when I messaged you to say, "Oh my God, how have we not done The Notebook?"
Yeah,
but it was in that post-Notebook like PTSD moment where I just felt like I needed to talk about it, because when you watch this film, if you watch it by yourself, and I was watching it on the plane next to Luke, who was looking at me like, what is going on?
Why are you weeping?
Yeah. And you know, when you're on a plane, planes make sad films sadder. This is a thing. Is this not a scientific thing?
I don't know, is it?
Yes, I'm sure this is a thing. Or it might just be that on planes, I end up watching films about animals, or like I watched E.T. and I was like, man, that film's upsetting. But like sad films get sadder on planes. I think it's to do with the air pressure or something.
Right.
But I have the double whammy of like being pregnant and also on a plane and watching The Notebook.
Yeah.
So people walking through the plane aisle were like, what is going on in seat 15A? Do you remember when you first saw this film?
I'm not sure I would be able to remember like a specific first time, but I remember watching it multiple times at various sleepovers. And I think we talked about this phenomenon a little bit when we did our episode on Titanic, where it was kind of like we're at a sleepover. What movie are we going to watch? Is it going to be Titanic or The Notebook? Like, it was kind of the choices if we were in the place for, like, a sad romantic movie.
That was it. We talked about almost a triumvirate of, because we spoke about this with Mean Girls as well. This sort of group of naughties sleepover films.
Yeah.
And it was like early in the evening, you'd have some snacks and watch Mean Girls, and it would all be very fun.
Or Bring It On.
Or Bring It On. Yes. We must do that another episode. Yeah. Yes, you're right, that category. And then as the evening progressed and darkness set in, then came the decision between Titanic, see that episode, people, if you're not listening to that already, and The Notebook.
And The Notebook, yeah.
Now, we should have coordinated, because I am convinced that I watched this the first time at your house.
Oh, really?
But I feel like you hadn't seen it either.
Maybe we just knew of it, and therefore it was, like, on the list for us to watch.
Yeah, somebody had it on DVD. We weren't old enough to see this in the cinema. I think it's a 15.
Could be.
But, like, I feel like if we could have seen this in the cinema, we would have done, and we didn't.
No.
So we must have been just under whatever the age rating for it was. We had to wait for it to come out, on video or DVD. And I really, really specifically remember watching it on your television.
Ah.
And of, like, your mum coming in.
Probably a really inappropriate moment.
Probably. Or just, like, coming to see if we were okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like this was an occasion that involved maybe, like, Amira and Alex not. And, like, there was a group of us there, as there was in a sort of sleepover environment. And everyone was upset.
Yes.
By this movie.
Yeah.
Whoever brought it had clearly watched it before. But the rest of us were like, oh my God, what have we done to ourselves? And none of us, I think, had read the book.
No.
Yeah.
So why don't we talk a little bit about the plot so people are going to understand quite how devastating it is?
Oh, do we? And also, what do you think? Do you think we need to say, we probably do, that there's spoilers?
There's spoilers, yeah, there'll be spoilers.
Yeah, we can't not talk about it without being like, this is what happens.
Yeah.
This is the end. Okay, So guys, if you have not seen The Notebook, obviously watch it. It's not a long movie. It's not hard to get hold of. Apparently it's available on all good aeroplanes. But yes, we will be talking about the ending and like who Ali chooses and things like that. So big spoilers. Okay, the summary. Why do we never prepare a summary in advance? Every time you ask for a summary.
We know it so well. I mean, it's a very simple concept, right? So the idea is it starts with us in a care home, and we are kind of following an older guy who goes to visit an older woman who very clearly is unwell and kind of unable to kind of remember things. And he is telling her a romantic story, and he is reading from this notebook. That's the title of the movie, and he's telling her this romantic story from looking back to the 40s about Ali and Noah.
And as you were telling this, I realised I forget the frame narration every time.
Yeah.
When you said summary, I immediately thought, right, we're in the deep south, it's the 40s, it's about Ali and Noah who are teenagers. And then you were like, it starts in this care home. And I thought, oh, Madeline, you got the wrong film.
No.
No, you're totally
That
right.
is the whole concept.
That's the whole concept.
It starts as if they're just telling a story.
Yeah.
And I think over the course of the film, it becomes more and more clear that this isn't just a story that he's telling. It is his and her story. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to bring it back to her. And he's telling the story of their love. Through
the
notebook, and she doesn't remember any of it. She's got dementia, but I think it becomes pretty clear pretty early that that's what he's doing. I don't think it's not meant to be a massive twist that that's what's happening.
No,
it isn't like made obvious straight away.
You're right. That is sort of the first, not spoiler, but you're right. It isn't introduced immediately that the two older people feature themselves in the narrative in the 40s.
Yeah.
And you're right, the kind of notebook of the title is the one that he reads from.
Yeah.
Although, just to confuse us a bit more, interestingly, the care home do give him a different name. I think it's to not scare Ali. They call him Duke. when he turns up. They say, this is Duke, he's come to read to you.
Yeah.
You'll like him. And so you, the viewer, aren't sure initially what the relationship between the elderly people and the young people of the kind of flashback narrative are. But you're right, it's an intelligent viewer partway through realises the relationship.
Yeah.
What is not clear and is saved for the sort of dramatic reveal is who the two kind of surviving protagonists are. Because this effectively becomes a love triangle movie.
Yes.
We have Ali and Noah.
Yep. And
it is a test of whether their love will survive or whether Ali will choose to marry someone else.
Yeah, and it's a classic, people from two different sides of the tracks, as it were. You know, she's very from a very wealthy family, and he is works in the mines or some kind of construction type. He's
logging,
or
something with trees.
Yeah. and they meet kind of accidentally through some mutual friends, and there's the great scenes at the beginning of them meeting at this carnival, and he's just clearly obsessed with her right away.
It's a summer romance.
It's a summer romance, and it's really lovely, and she gets swept up in it, and it's a classic. Her parents. Her parents in the end think they need to find someone better for her, and that she's going to move away for college, and she finds it really hard. But it's not. It's almost like a very simple story that you've heard a lot of times, but it's just done very well. It's not over exaggerated. The parents are not downright evil from the beginning. They're actually very nice to Noah, and they do welcome him a bit. But ultimately, they kind of cause this extremely fun summer romance. They kind of say to her, look, it's okay for you to have this romance, but ultimately in life you're going to need to move on and to find someone more suitable and more in our world. And so that is quite a classic story, but it's done very delicately and very kindly, I think.
As you're explaining it, I was just thinking about the similarity with Titanic, but also this is a really, really stereotypical narrative structure, and yet it doesn't feel tired when I watch it.
Yeah,
which is you have a rich upper class girl who is 17. This is meant to be the summer before college.
Yeah,
and a, as you say, sort of boy from the other side of the tracks. And I'm thinking, wait, didn't we talk about this 2 episodes ago?
Yeah, but
that is exactly Jack and Rose, despite the fact us saying there is no way that Kate Winslet feels 17 in that film. Rachel McAdams does a little bit more.
Yes, and she feels naive. She is naive as that, especially during that summer. She's never really had a romance before. He's getting her to do all sorts of exciting things that she's never done before, and it does feel like a young romance.
Is it fair to say that one of the first enjoyable aspects of this movie, and we'll go through why we love it, is just that their summer love looks so fun?
Yes, definitely.
Looks so fun.
Yeah.
It's they're in this fantastic setting, and everything, the setting, the costumes, the whole thing, it's the deep south. It looks very romantic. There's lots of jumping into lakes and cycling and going on the Ferris wheel.
And he they lie down in the middle of the street, at the middle of the night, and she's all scared that a car might come along, and he's no, we can be brave and just do things, and try to get her out of her shell to just do the things she wants to do.
So
very sweet.
I am such a loser, just before I forget this. That when I went to Charleston, this was that summer when I went to the US and did those southern states, and my friend Emma and I don't think we'd coordinated. We hadn't, you said, you just assume everyone's seen The Notebook.
Yeah.
I was surely we should go and sit in the road. We've got to do that thing. We've got to take a picture.
Yeah.
We've got to do the photo of us in the road for The Notebook. And Emma immediately was 100%. We're doing it.
Amazing.
So there is a photo of us, I don't know if it's the right road. It's probably shot in a studio. But that is an iconic moment. You're right.
Yeah.
Noah brings Ali out of her kind of shell. She's a little bit sheltered.
Yeah.
They have that conversation where she talks about how planned her day is. She's French tutor, Latin tutor, tennis, something else. But the fun that they have in the summer just looks outrageously compelling.
Yeah.
And you can see why she is so drawn to him. What do you think about the casting? What do you think about those two? They're really the two worth mentioning.
They're really great. My only problem is I never remember who is Ryan Gosling and who is Ryan Reynolds.
Oh my god. Actually, do you know what, though? I can see why.
I just have no idea which one's which. I don't know which one was in Barbie.
That's
don't
Ryan
know
Gosling.
which one did that documentary about Wrexham.
That's the other one.
I don't
Ryan
know
Reynolds.
which one is that superhero guy.
I think that's also Ryan Reynolds.
I've literally no clue. They are the same person to me. And I think I like Ryan Gosling and I don't like Ryan Reynolds, but I also can't really remember.
Okay, Ryan Reynolds is the one married to Blake Lively.
Yes.
I kind of am indifferent to him and don't know a lot about him.
Yeah.
But Ryan Gosling in this movie, I loved.
Oh, yeah.
Loved Ryan Gosling in this movie. Oh, my God. And unless I'm wrong and had ignored things he'd done before, this was very much his sort of breakout movie. Like, I don't remember knowing about him. He wasn't a teen star in the way that we all knew about, like, Leonardo DiCaprio or Johnny Depp was a big deal, or...
No.
Like, I can't remember Ryan Gosling predating The Notebook.
No, I think you're right.
This was sort of his thing. And he plays Noah, and Rachel McAdams plays Allie, who, of course, is also in Mean Girls. So
Yeah.
it was like a double bill Rachel McAdams. Also on nobody's radar. Not that it would have been, we would have been like 12 or something, but still. Wasn't necessarily like a big household name. And a lot of the interest in the film, maybe retrospectively, I can't remember how well covered it was at the time, is that they fell in love on the film.
Yes.
Did they get married?
I don't
Ryan
know.
Gosling? Actually, to be fair, if you don't know the difference between Ryan Gosling and Ryan Reynolds,
Then I don't know.
I'm going to be like, so this niche fact in his biography. No, I don't think they did, but they were an item.
Well, they do feel very natural, don't they? And I think that's part of what makes this film work, is they just come across as very natural together.
Yeah, they have fantastic chemistry, and it's the Robert Pattinson, Kristen Stewart getting together on Twilight.
Yeah.
Or it just happens over and over again. Or Reese Witherspoon on Cruel Intentions. And you can tell when two actors have genuine chemistry, and these two really do.
Yeah.
Rachel McAdams, I actually think, is the more compelling casting in this film. Everyone loses their minds over Ryan Gosling, but I think she's fantastic.
She has a kind of brightness that just really works for the character. Like, it could get really, as we said, like, the story and the characters could become cliched, but they don't, because it's done so well.
Yep. She could feel petulant.
Yeah.
At times, she sort of sacrifices their relationship to agree with her parents, although she resists quite a bit. But she could come across as a little bit prissy at times, and she doesn't. And the film needed to cast someone who you believe is your all-out devastating true love. Like, if you don't believe that Ryan Gosling's character is going to spend his life obsessed with this woman,
Pining over her, like not getting over her, even when it's been years.
yeah, then it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It can't be somebody sort of all right.
Yeah.
It has to be somebody who is so compelling and so magnetic that Noah's character basically dedicates his life to, to her. And I think in this film, Rachel McAdams feels a little bit like young Julia Roberts did. She has this remarkable smile.
Yeah, I know what you
And-
mean.
Yeah. If you like, when Julia Roberts is in like Pretty Woman,
yeah.
or something where you think you wouldn't let that person go. They're so naturally radiant.
Yes.
Rachel McAdams is that.
Yeah, I
in
agree.
this film,
Yeah,
and that was good casting.
definitely.
And the characters have to age, don't they? They go from, we see them at 17 or 18, and then the film progresses through, well, what happens at the end of the summer?
Yeah, so at the end of the summer, she goes off to school and he stays working in the South, and she basically doesn't come back. That is it. Her family move, I think, even. They're completely gone from the area.
Yeah, she goes to Sarah Lawrence. She goes to college.
And from that, she moves on with her life, and the kind of crux of the devastation in that is that they still were in love with each other, and both, even though they've argued and they fought over this separation, she is still waiting to hear from him, and he is still desperately writing to her, but none of the letters get through because her mother blocks them.
Oh, it's terrible.
And it's just like this kind of... And she, obviously, the mother thinks she's doing it in order to allow Ali to move on with her life, which she does, which is what's, you know, kind of realistic and interesting, is that Ali really does move on with her life and is happy. But you just know that if they'd been allowed to keep in contact, that the whole thing would have gone completely differently. And it's like, that's one of those, like, just, oh, why kind of moments. So you just, it's devastating. But she does move on with her life. She grows up and she falls in love again with somebody else, with James Marsden.
Yes.
Who's actually great.
Who has a name I can never remember. I want
His
to call him,
character.
like, Long Hammond or something.
Oh, I don't know.
But that sounds... Or I wanted to call him Cal, and then I was like, no, wait, am I just borrowing that from
That's
Titanic?
from Titanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't remember his name. But the point is, he is everything that is suitable for Ali, right? He's the right class, he's got money, they do get on extremely well, they have a great relationship. There's nothing... In another world, this would have been Titanic, where the rich guy is not very nice and, you know, not right for her. But actually, they have a good relationship and they are going to get married. Like, ultimately, he proposes and she says yes. And there's an alternate universe where they just carry on and they're perfectly happy. But the kernel of, like, that summer romance is just stuck inside her. And before they get married, she just like has to go back and explore what could have been. And it's just like, I think that's what makes it... The thing that makes it unique is that alternate option is not a bad option.
100%. This is where I feel the film achieves a sophistication that actually slightly outdoes the romance narrative in Titanic.
Yes.
Which is that the man from her, as you say, social class... is shown to be actually quite lovely.
Yeah.
And if you were to remove Noah from the equation, Ali is fully in love with Longham. Let's just call him James Marsden's character.
Yes.
And the narrative voice, because there's always voiceover, you get the voice of the notebook reader being read over the top, is really open about that and says something like, Ali was surprised how quickly she fell in love with James Marsden's character.
Yeah.
And he was from the South and his family were fabulously wealthy and came from old money and all of this. And it shows them having a fun time. They are horse riding on the beach. They're... You know the scene where he proposes?
Yeah, they're like in that club.
They're in a jazz club. And I remember thinking, yeah, this guy's quite fun.
Yeah, they're great. And he's also extremely understanding when she wants to go and, like, just have some time before the wedding to think about stuff. He's just like, sure, yeah, go away and do what you need to do. And you want to do more of your painting? Sure, like, fine, great. And
that's it, because she says, I don't paint anymore.
Yeah, because Noah had, like, encouraged her to do the things that she really wanted, and it was included her painting. And she's realised that she's kind of forgotten some of that stuff.
I think that's where it starts to turn, that until they get engaged, Longham seems really fun. Whatever, James Marsden's character seems really fun. And I always really enjoy that proposal scene, because, you know, he sort of messes with her and says, like, I think you should marry me. And she says, well, you have to ask my parents. He's like, well, I did.
Yeah.
They already agreed, so. And it's really, really fun. I think, I like this guy. And Rachel McAdams acts it in such a way that you believe she is in love with this guy.
Yeah, and is excited and surprised and...
Absolutely. And the way the film brings Noah back into the picture is literally through a picture. She sees his picture in the paper.
Yes, that's right.
It's so, and she faints, doesn't she? But there are slight inklings dropped once they've got engaged that her life is going to become a little bit more restrictive, and a bit more formal.
Yeah,
everything from her mum is excited that the mayor is coming to the wedding. It's a society event. She starts to dress more conservatively straight away. And it's suggested that she's going to become, as we move towards like the 1950s, a sort of 50s housewife.
Yeah.
And that is where the beautiful contrast comes in when we go back to see Noah, who's in his sort of jeans and overalls, and he's got beer, and he's been doing up the house.
Yeah, and
they
he's
go
just
boating.
living an extremely free life, which is a massive contrast to what she's able to have.
Yeah, that you think, okay, so that's it. She sees his picture in the paper and somehow takes the decision, whether or not this is believable, to be like, I've just got to go back and chat to him. Yeah. Literally, it isn't it? She just wants to go,
she just wants to talk to him. Yeah, see him again.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, close that chapter, I suppose, probably in her brain. She's trying to rationalise it as, but...
It's so well done when she shows up at his house with, I was going to say with no warning, but of course, this predates mobile phones or WhatsApp or email. And he is astonished to see her. And she says, I'm a silly woman, I shouldn't have come.
Yeah, she just is about to turn around and just leave again. Cause
I'm like, you can't just rock up. What? But that is sort of act 3 of the film, I feel, when she goes back to Noah.
Yeah.
What do you think about that there? That's when the film has a little bit of a moral crisis.
It is a moral crisis, and she is not a good person in that moment. She cheats on her fiance.
Yep.
And
within like a day.
Immediately.
Yeah.
And I think, again, it's just one of those more like sophisticated pieces. It's like, we know that she's done the wrong thing, and in terms of morality and for her existing relationship with James Marsden, but yet it feels believable. It feels very real.
Mm-hmm.
And that, like, good people do bad things sometimes. And ultimately, you feel both bad for James Marsden's character, but you also kind of want her to be happy. So you kind of have to, you kind of have to just, like, weigh those two things up and be okay with sometimes people do the wrong thing.
Yeah, you do feel bad for James Marsden's character, but that is offset for me by thinking, James Marsden's character is going to be fine.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
He'll marry someone else.
Yeah.
He is a rich, handsome guy.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
Yeah.
But when she does go back to Noah, the viewer is supposed to think, this is before she sort of ultimately chooses him.
Yeah.
But you do see that their chemistry is on a slightly different level.
Yes.
And that the way that they talk and are kind of free with each other and go and boat through the birds. And it's like the film becomes more romantic in its cinematography then. That's it. We've moved away from the slightly more rigid costuming. She's been going to see James Marsden in his office, that sort of stuff. She's wandering around
boating in the rain, don't they?
They go boating in the rain.
I mean, that's the classic moment. The kiss in the rain is the moment of the movie.
So on the airplane where I watched this the other day, I know this film so well that I was like, oh my God, I'm watching an edited version. You know, like sometimes they censor movies on planes depending on what airline you're on. And it got to that bit and he says, like, I wrote you every day. I wrote you 365 letters. It wasn't over. It still isn't over. And then it was like them the next day.
No.
Yes.
No.
I thought, wait, hang on. What? Wait. Hang on. What's happened here? Because that's the big scene.
Oh no, you missed it.
Yeah, we'll have to come back to this in the thermometer section, but it was edited out of the version on the plane.
Wow.
And she ultimately has to decide between the two of them,
Between the
doesn't she?
two, yeah. And we did say there are going to be spoilers, so ultimately she does choose Noah. She chooses the romance, and you're only kind of revealed that through the story of the older characters and the reveal of, like, that they are Noah and Ali, and that they lasted for a whole lifetime.
Yeah.
In the end.
Oh my God, it's going to make me cry even thinking about this. This is the moment of the film that I always forget. So I always remember the kiss in the rain and all of that.
Yeah.
And I remember when she does choose Noah, she comes back with her suitcases.
Yes. Yeah.
And he sees her from the balcony. And I remember all of that. But every time I forget that the reveal is done through Gina Rowlands' character in the older person narrative saying, it was us.
Yeah.
It was us. And
she
it's
remembers.
so sad.
Yeah.
And she says, Noah.
Yeah.
to the old guy.
And the whole movie, when we've been flashing forward, I guess, to present day, to the older characters, there's been this idea that the guy has been wanting to tell the story in order to make her remember, and everyone else around him, the nurses, even her kids turn up.
Yes,
and they're like, look, Dad, like she won't remember. This is a degenerative illness. She's not going to remember. You're expecting too much. And he just believes that miracles happen, and she will remember, and she does in that moment. She remembers.
So sad.
But she only remembers for a few moments, maybe an hour or something. It's really not long.
It's like The Notebook can sometimes get remembered as a film about like teenage love that stars Rachel McAdams and, Ryan Gosling. But it's really, really a film about dementia.
Yes.
And about any sort of disease that causes, like you said, kind of degenerative memory loss.
Yeah.
And that is so potently rendered.
And it's painful.
It's so painful to watch that frame narration that it cuts back to. And you're right, the family turn up, don't they? He says, "This is my family."
Yeah.
And they introduce themselves to her.
And she just is like, "Hi, I don't really know why I'm meeting you. I'm going to go off and..."
It's like, nice to meet y'all.
I'll go now. Bye.
Yeah, and the little kid gives her a hug and she doesn't know why.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awful. It's so difficult to watch. But the mechanism of The Notebook that is revealed as the film goes on is the trigger for her to remember who she is.
Yes.
And what we thought we were watching that was a one-off, somebody coming to read to someone, it turns out he does every day.
Yeah.
He does it on repeat.
Yeah.
He shows up every day. She forgets every morning.
Yeah.
And he reads this book to her every day.
Yeah.
Oh, so sad. And she does indeed choose Noah. We must nod here to the remarkable reaction from James Marsden's character. That, because all through the film, as she's deciding between the two of them, I just think, oh shit, she's going to have to tell one of them that it's a no. And to have to go and tell James Marsden's character, oh, whoops, I'm sorry, that little trip that I went on to see my ex-boyfriend, yeah, I'm going to stay with him.
Yeah.
So our whole wedding is cancelled, thank you, bye.
Yeah.
And he reacts so well to it.
That's because he's like a good guy.
I know, but it'd be so easy for the film to write a scene where he and Ryan Gosling have a fight.
Yes, he turns into a villain.
There's some sort of tussle.
Yeah.
And yet they parody that because he says, well, on one hand, I could shoot him. And you think, oh yeah, that would have happened in a different film. But instead it's very well written that he says, but either way, I don't get you. And he even says that he still wants her.
Yeah.
So he says he would overlook it and that it's normal to not forget your first love. And if she wants to be with him, he still wants to be with her. And every time I watch it, I'm like, oh my God, blimey.
Yeah, he's very mature.
This is giving me Oz vibes from our like, does he re-accept Willow from our Buffy podcast?
Yeah, true.
But in the end, no, she does choose. And there is a little bit of reconciliation with the mum character, isn't there? Which I always forget and think is really nicely done.
Yeah, because really it was the mum that kind of messed things up by taking all those letters.
Her mum is the sort of micro-villain throughout, in a way that obviously James Marsden never is, because we're saying it's a love triangle in a positive sense. It's more Pearl Harbor than it is Titanic.
Yeah.
God, The Naughties was a good time. What a time for movies. Wow. But her mum separates them and is really outrageously rude about Noah. She says that he's trash, not for you.
But she does only do it in private. And I think in another movie again, she would have been cruel at that. Do you remember they have like a summer dinner party early on that she invites him to? And they're actually quite all right with him. And the dad especially is very nice to Noah.
The dad's nice.
And yeah, the mum is the strongest villain, but even she is not the worst. She feels like a real character as well.
But there's that lovely reveal where she tells Ali that she has lived out the same story and chose differently.
Yes.
So she takes her in the car to like the lumber yard and shows her the man that she loved when she was 17. But she picked Ali's father, which is why they're so rich. And she gives Ali back all the letters.
Yeah.
And I always think, and she's like, whoever is the actress that plays the mum does that, like breaks down in that scene, and it's really affecting. And starts saying, I love your father, I really do. And I think that feels like the prompt in the story for Ali to choose Noah.
Yeah.
To think, well, I don't want to live out this life.
Yeah, that's fair.
So let me really pick Noah.
Yeah.
What do we think about the end of the movie? Oh my God, can we even talk about it?
Oh. So, yes, I mean, in summary, they basically go to sleep at the end of this is the older characters. We're back to the older characters' narrative. She's remembered the story but then forgotten again and is taken to sleep by the nurses.
She's very ill.
She's very unwell. And he's actually unwell too. He's had heart problems the whole movie.
That's right.
And had been having checkups, and we can tell there's something wrong with him as well. And he's not meant to stay with her at night. He lives somewhere else, but he goes to visit her, and the nurse kind of turns a blind eye and lets him go through to stay with her. And they both.
That's a lovely moment. We must skip past that when she says, "I'm going to leave my coffee here," or like, "I'm going to get some coffee."
Yeah,
and he realizes he's been given a free pass to go and see her.
Yeah,
that's lovely.
And they fall asleep together, or she's already asleep, he falls asleep with her, and they pass away together in the night.
It's the saddest thing. Like, when I watch the film, I know it's coming every single time, and the nurse comes to find them, doesn't she?
Yeah.
The next day. And as someone who... I never read the book. Did you read the book?
No, I never read the book.
Me neither. So... I think when we all watched this at your house, nobody knew
that was going to happen. Yeah.
And everyone was like, I'm distraught every time I watch this movie.
Yeah.
Well, even though I know what happens. And even though it's not sad.
Yeah, that's the thing. It is sad.
It's beautiful.
Because I mean, ultimately they've both lived reasonably long lives together. And the love did survive. And that's what, you know, this was a summer romance, but it became so much more than that. It became a whole life and a family and a love that lasted. Most summer romances, you don't expect them to last.
Yeah.
But this does. And that's what's special about it. And the fact that he's been so dedicated to her.
Yeah.
He, as you said at the beginning, you know, he's just completely... From the moment they meet, he's obsessed with her, and he doesn't ever lose that. From that first scene in the carnival, and
where he hangs off the Ferris wheel,
to the months and years spent rebuilding the house, just like thinking about her, sending those letters every single day, to when she comes back, and to then living a whole life, and then when she gets ill as an old person, visiting her every single day and reading to her. He just like has never lost that love, like not for one moment. And I think that's what makes it beautiful. It
is one of the most shamelessly romantic movies of all time in that sense.
Yes.
And we were talking about sort of the cinematography earlier, but at the end, it's that beautiful shot of the birds flying when they die, because the birds have been sort of a motif throughout.
Yeah, but right at the beginning, I think, as well, like the first shot of the movie.
Yeah, and we have the whole, if you're a bird, then I'm a bird too.
Yeah.
And the bird, this film is beautifully filmed, beautifully directed. I think that's why it's lasted, and its popularity has gone on in the way that it has. It doesn't in any way feel like a cheap shot at a romance film.
No.
In any way. It's a beautiful, beautiful movie.
Beautiful and serious.
Indeed.
Movie. Yeah.
Let's go to our categories.
Let's do it.
All right, well, it's a romance movie. Category 1 is the thermometer.
Oh, it's interesting, because
out of 100 degrees,
out of 100 degrees, because this is interesting because it's more romantic than it is sexy. Yeah. And there are sexy moments. It doesn't shy away from sex being a topic. In fact, which I think is interesting for characters in the 40s and 50s. There's actually a lot of, like, they're quite open about sex and wanting to have sex and whatever. Even in that, like, summer romance piece. So but it's not super explicit. It's mostly romantic. I maybe put it at like a strong 70.
I have 75.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, I agree, because this, and you're right, it's not a hot film. You don't sort of think, oh my God, whoa. But you really believe their chemistry.
Yes.
Throughout.
Yeah.
And they are so magnetic together.
Yes.
And you're right, it's not afraid to talk about sex as an element of their relationship.
They're like sex on the floor of the house, like right.
But they don't.
Or they don't have sex. They're about to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that guy runs in and is like, Allie's parents are looking for her.
But it's like a 17-year-old in the 40s. Like, that's pretty bold.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And it's given voice by her mum, who says she will end up with her heart broken or pregnant.
Yes.
And you think, oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, like, if you do just have unprotected sex, you probably will get pregnant, so...
Yeah, but that scene is very well choreographed, and because I haven't read the book, I don't know whether it's the staging of it is borrowed from the book or whether this was like a director's choice to have them do the sort of... They do that kind of mutual undressing scene.
Yes.
That is really well acted and feels really vulnerable.
Very, yeah.
And it's almost hard to watch. Whenever I watch that film, I think, oh my God, you guys, though. Like, I don't know, it's really tension-filled.
Yeah, and it's not super sexy, because they're just like, this is just like normal people's bodies, and they want to be close. Yeah. But it's not staged, it's not lit in a particularly sexy way, it's just them.
Yeah, whereas the actual sex scene in sort of Act 3, when she has returned to Noah, is much more Hollywood. Yeah. And it's much more like, let me carry you up the stairs. they're all wet from the rain.
Kissing in the rain.
Yeah.
I feel like the kissing in the rain thing is just something that people wanted to like recreate. Like, I want to kiss in the rain. Like, that's what I want from my life.
The Notebook kiss in the rain has taken on the iconic movie standards of like the Spider-Man upside down kiss, or, you know, just some of these things that get like really recreated.
Or like Dirty Dancing, like holding her above the head.
Yes, that is the other one. You're totally right. So there's always water involved. I feel like it's raining in Spider-Man. I don't know. Anyway, so that one's done kind of a bit more full Hollywood. Yeah. But I definitely believe their chemistry. But as we've said, James Marsden is hot in this film. Yeah. Maybe James Marsden in this film doesn't register for you and I on the like super hotness scale because he's nice.
Yeah, he's too nice.
He's too nice. But I think like
they're both too nice.
They're both too nice. If this was a film where it turned out partway through that James Marsden's character was like secretly a vampire and was out to like kill Noah's character, we would be talking about this in a very different way. Because he's like tall, dark, and handsome. Yeah. It just turns out he's playing a very sensible, nice man. Yes. And so we're like, good. That's fine. It's fine. Yes. We can see why she maybe picks Noah. Yeah. But there's no one in this film that is the like, you know, there isn't a bad boy character in this. No. At all. And the fact that Allie's parents think Noah is the bad boy.
Yeah, he's just he's just like a bit more free than the high society, and that's it. He just has more fun. That's about it.
He just like wears jeans. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, so that is our thermometer. We're giving it a 70 and a 75. How... Oh, man. Sometimes this category applies and sometimes it really doesn't. How badass is this movie?
Like, minimally badass. It is mostly just very, as we said, romantic, lovely, you know, sad. Yeah. I guess you could maybe make an argument that, like, Noah's character is mildly badass occasionally.
What, in the jeans-wearing department? Or like, not really.
Like, does some chopping of some wood.
Oh my gosh. Well,
he like tries to get her to be a bit more out of her shell.
Yeah, they do lie in the road.
They lie in
there
the
is
road.
peril.
He like hangs off the Ferris wheel.
He goes to war for 5 seconds.
Yeah, he goes to war.
That's true. Yeah, that's
I think we're really struggling on the badass section.
The barrel. It's that the category should give you an idea of the sort of things Madeline and I normally discuss, which normally involve monsters and weapons and vampires and
fight training
and things like that. So this category doesn't really apply. All I had was there's an element of like social resistance that you've got Ali kind of going against the advice of her parents or society. She has to stand up to them occasionally.
And his dedication to her over like a whole lifetime is, you know, badass in a very like day-to-day kind of way.
It is also a big deal that she does leave James Marsden's character.
Yeah.
I mean, we've said it's sort of mental that she decides to go back and like have a chat with her ex-boyfriend. That was only going to go one way. But the film genuinely feels like she might pick James Marsden in the end.
Yeah.
And it's quite badass of her to be like,
I'm going to throw this away and
I'm gonna throw this away.
Live in that house with nothing and no salary and
yeah. They're going to
work it out.
They're going to go and do like a house renovation together.
Yeah.
Although I guess as a viewer you do think, oh, that looks way more fun.
Yeah.
That's obviously better. Okay, so what about obsession fuel? What impact did this film have? Does it continue to have?
Yeah.
How much of an obsession did this create?
It has a big impact. I think it was very widely known, widely watched, widely well received. But I wouldn't say that it caused like an obsession type level of interest. It's if we're talking about our obsession fuel tank, I'd say it's like 10-20% full maximum. It's like, yes, we rewatched it a lot.
Yeah.
And plenty of people talked about it, and that, you know, the iconic kiss in the rain and all that sort of stuff kind of became part of culture at the time.
Yeah.
But it's not something that people were going away and writing fan fiction about and obsessing over the world. It's just a very good movie that exists as a whole on its own, as a piece of work to enjoy, but not really outside of that.
Yeah, and that you return to and you'd recommend to others.
Course.
And
yeah.
Anytime that I do think, oh, look, it's on a plane, you know, I know I'm going to watch it. But it didn't cause for us the sort of seismic shift in our world that things like Pirates of the Caribbean did.
No.
If anyone has not listened to that episode,
It's a good one.
But that's an example of a film that took over our lives.
Yes.
Along with things like Lord of the Rings and all this other stuff. The Notebook, you're right, it was on our sleepover roster. It was like an unmoving sleepover must.
Yeah.
And every time someone new was invited, we had to sort of vet, like, okay, well, have you seen The Notebook? No. Okay, so
that's one to watch.
So we're going to watch that then. So you need to be inducted into this.
Yeah.
And Nicholas Sparks, who I've lost track of kind of his work and stuff now, did seem to have a bit of a chokehold on the noughties. So
what else did he write?
The Last Song, Dear John, whatever that film was with Zac Efron in it. And we were watching things like The Notebook at school.
Yeah.
And we were maybe like 13 or something. But I remember being at university and a Nicholas Sparks film came out, the Zac Efron one, that I can't remember for the life of me the name of, and thinking, oh my God, I'm going to go and see that.
Yeah.
Like, that is exactly what I want to go and see.
Right, yeah.
Something soppy, but also good.
Yeah, high quality.
High quality. And so he really, I do think that Nicholas Sparks era was a big deal. But The Notebook is sort of the flagship movie to this day and has really assumed that sort of legendary status.
Absolutely.
You've been listening to the Fangirl Diaries. Follow us on Instagram at Fangirl Diaries Pod.
And do share us with any of your friends that you think might enjoy the podcast, and rate or review us on Spotify or Apple Music.